Frank Lucas in the building.
Boom. Okay. Check, check, check. We coming through with sound now. Uh-huh. I got you, Marcus. Okay, yeah. Things happen, technical difficulties, but we are going to make it happen. That's what we do around here. Oh man, I'm already sweating like we in church up in here. We gonna get to it. There we go. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate that. Marvin Hopkins in the house. Best choice janitorial. Oh, we got businesses up in here. All right. I love it. I love it. Hey, fellas. Once again, my name is Brian, aka Uncle B. And around here, what we do is we talk about men's sexual health and how you can get better. I've been doing this for the past long time, 23 years, talking with guys, getting a lot of information. Took a little hiatus. We were doing this going live for about a good 2 years straight every Thursday, 9 to 10 p.m. I had to take a little break there. But in the meantime, what's going on, Coco? In the meantime, I've gone and talked to a lot of guys, did some one-on-one coaching. If you are a part of the group, you're part of the clan, you are a member of the YouTube channel, then you are able to participate in that. And talked with a lot of guys, got a lot more information, more insights. and I wanted to hop back on and share it because we need to make sure that we're taking care of each other. There's a lot of stuff that affects our sexual health, health in general, and it can mess with your mind. And so we're going here to straighten a lot of that stuff out tonight. Once again, if you can, go ahead and go to the chat section, put in your name, where you're from. Sorry for the technical difficulties there earlier, but we're gonna get down with it. Today, we're gonna talk about something special. We're gonna talk about sexual performance athletes and things that you need to understand when it comes to becoming an athlete. I mean, when we're talking about sex, we're talking about you getting into a position and doing your thing for however long is comfortable, feels great, and all that stuff. The better that you understand what you need to do to prepare yourself, the better you're going to be at having sex. So, what we do is set the scale. We're going to talk about the Goodwood Sexual Performance Scale. We're going to talk about the things you need to understand in order to actually get better, the things you need to focus in on. Uh-huh. All right, North Carolina in the house, Syracuse, New York. What's going on, Andre? Uh-huh. Phil from Phoenix, Arizona in the house. All right. And as always, of course, this is a give and take, you know what I'm saying? As in you are able to go ahead and hit me up. Let me know what questions you have in the comment section. The way we normally do it, I just go ahead and roll through the particular subject matter. Make sure we get that out there. But any questions you have, go ahead and pop them in. Hey, Samuel, appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. So yeah, and in the chat section, I've also put in something I'm going to try. We're going to try a little technology here where you can actually hop on and have a direct conversation with me. But let me go ahead and get rolling. Pittsburgh in the house. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Coming in from Texas. All right. Yes, an athlete's mentality is necessary. So let's get into it. So basically, if you want to get to having your best sexual performance, then you need to understand this one concept, which is called the sexual performance scale. I came up with this scale as I was talking to guys over the years. So I would get on the phone with them, having conversations, trying to figure out, what's going on, where they are. Then I figured, yeah, come on now, you know yourself better than anybody. So I came up with this scale, a scale of 1 to 10. 10 means everything works. 1 means you need to go to the hospital. You got some problems. Most guys that I'm working with are at 5 to 7. That means that sometimes it works, sometimes it's not. We're going to break all that stuff down. We're going to break all that stuff down. And I also want to mention, of course, that this is being brought to you by African Fly, and we have a special announcement that's going to be coming out at the end, just talking about that. But let's keep on going. Chesapeake, Virginia. What's going on there, Mr. Hall? So let's talk about it. Sexual performance athlete. I mean, a lot of people don't think about themselves as that, but literally, for the vast majority of humans, that's the only thing you do in terms of, hell, you could be a professional athlete before you were a professional athlete, while you're a professional athlete, and after you retire. You still going to try to have sex. So you might as well be good at that. And you could obviously enjoy yourself without being in shape, but it's much better when you are in shape. Things don't tighten up on you and everything, because there is that one side where you're an athlete, you focus in on it, you're doing good. And then there's the other side where it's the agony of defeat. I remember that, what was it, ABC? The guy was skiing down the slope and they said the agony of defeat as he damn near broke his leg with the skis and all that stuff. That was messed up. They kept showing that. But anyway, a sexual performance athlete is like any other athlete. You're focusing in on the things you have to do. What type of exercises are you doing? What's your nutrition plan? How's your sleep? How are you taking care of your mental, your stress? What are you training for? I mean, you don't see Tiger Woods shooting 500 free throws a day for a good reason. That's not the sport he's in. So when you're talking about a sport, you have to be very specific. So when we talk about the sexual performance score, we're talking specifically about how you score yourself. I mean, you have to be honest with yourself when it comes to this. And when we're talking about the factors, the things that actually matter when it comes to the score, obviously we're talking about your age, your weight, and the diet, and specifically your patterns. Your patterns is what determines whether or not you're going to be a good athlete or not. Don't need to tell you about the difference between Kobe and Shaq in terms of the way that they trained. Kobe was fierce. He was on it all the time. came to be known as the greatest. Shaq, I just saw a documentary talking about Shaq. Shaq came out with the ability to be the greatest. He is the most dominant. He could have been more dominant. He could have been much better. He just didn't practice. He didn't get his pattern together. He didn't take care of the things he was supposed to take care of. Yeah. So it's important that we talk about all of that. So, but first, we have to talk about the sexual performance scale. I call it the Goodwood sexual performance scale. You know why soon. And basically, like I said, when we're talking about a 10, I'm going to go all the way down the list. When we're talking about a 10, that means you're basically like a 21-year-old athlete, a college athlete. Everything works. Your erections are actually at a 45-degree angle, and that's because your core is so tight. I mean, different people's bodies are different. This doesn't apply to everybody. But definitely you have morning erections, spontaneous erections, and erections on demand. Now, we go down just a step. We talk about guys who are between an 8 to 9. I mean, these are guys who really don't need African fly. They really don't need supplements. They really don't need anything else unless you just want to show off. But this is the key. When you're at that, especially as you start hitting that 8, what you don't want to do is slip. You don't want to start going down, because as you go down, it gets harder to go back up. So if you're a 6 to 7 on this scale, that's where, like I said, most of my African fly clients are. When I say African fly, for those who don't know, it's a liquid aphrodisiac. It helps increase your testosterone. It helps increase your testosterone. It helps increase your blood flow, and that's the reason why it works so well for so many guys. But as you start hitting that 6 and 7 basically means that there are times when one day it's good. I mean, it's all good, and then the next day it's not. It's like, how does that keep happening? Well, the answer is because of your patterns, and I'll break that down in a second. And when you get down to a 6, it's even more severe because there'll be times it's like 2 times in a row you're trying to get it in, and it's not. One time you're in, everything's good, then you lose your erection. Another time is like you're able to go 2 or 3 times before, now or just it's the one time you just petered out. So it becomes even more frustrating. When you hit that 5, that means you have the weaker erections and they don't last. And you have to have a lot of stimulation. And we're talking about a 2 to a 4. You got some serious health issues. That's the one thing about, when we talk about sexual performance, we're talking about your measuring stick, what's in the middle of your body. This thing right here will let you know how healthy you are. If you can't get an erection at all, there are some serious health problems, underlying issues that you have to get taken care of. And of course, a 1 means you're completely impotent. And there is a huge problem. Anywhere between a 1 to a 4, you have to really pay attention to your health, because we're talking about you're in line to have a heart attack. That's basically, we talk about the canary in the coal mine. That's what your penis is in terms of letting you know that there is a problem. When we're talking about this particular problem, it's like the capillaries in your vein only let the capillaries in your penis only lets one blood platelet through at a time. So very thin. So if you have a problem getting through that, then imagine the rest of your body. I mean, your body is already saying, hey, we're not healthy, so we're going to cut this part off. So you really have to pay attention to your health when it comes to that. And, when it comes to using this scale to be an athlete, this is where it helps, because you know where you are. I mean, if you could, in the chat section, just give me a number, throw out a number where you think you are on that particular scale. Because when we're talking about it, we're talking about being a sexual performance athlete. There are a few things you need to have. The first thing is stamina. We're not talking about being a 1-minute man, all that weird stuff. We're talking about how long can you last, deals with both you controlling your ejaculation and keeping your erection and just not gassing out. We're not running out of energy. And it sucks. It can speed up, it can slow down. It depends on how it feels. And, you could feel good, and then, okay, baby, okay, you get on top, or you just lay there for a while I recover. You don't want that. So yeah. Michael B, yep. 4 to 5, 4 to 5. And and guys, let's be honest. I mean, I know a lot of times this is one thing. I've been doing a lot of podcasts, and when I'm talking to people about this, they always say, "Oh, well, guys don't like talking about this." That's changed. That's changed greatly. And this is the reason why that has changed greatly is because back in the 1940s, about 3% of men reported having um, ED. Yeah. Yeah. Now we're at 50%. It's a freaking epidemic. So, yes, feel free to talk about it because literally everything in our society works against us. We're talking about everything in terms of the amount of sleep you get because you're Netflixing and chilling, the time that you wake up, you're under stress, eating the wrong things first thing out of bed, having meat at every meal, first time in human history that was even possible, having sugar consistently at every meal, first time in human history that's ever possible. I mean, all of these things line up to us having problems. So, yep. Yeah. It's especially when it comes to like Mr. Michael here talking about being pre-diabetic. That I mean, being pre-diabetic shows two things: one, that your testosterone levels are lower, and two, meat is what causes diabetes. So if you're consuming a lot of meat, is messing with your system. High blood pressure and diabetic. Yeah. I was pre-diabetic at one point, and I had high blood pressure at one point. There are ways to correct all of those things. And this, when we talk about being a sexual athlete, that's literally you're correcting these issues while you're getting yourself much better for sex. That seems like a good deal. All right, let's keep going. So, also, what you need to have to be a sexual athlete is that strength. Sex is continuous motion, so you're going from like one position to the next, and you don't want your chest to lock up. You want to catch a hammy and things like that. You want to be, you want to have that strength, and of course, you need that strength and that stamina together. I mean, that's is necessary because the other side of this is like, how do you get your strength? How do you get your stamina? Testosterone. Your testosterone production is extremely important, especially in today's world. We have so many things coming at us, destroying our testosterone. Your testosterone forms while you sleep. Most people don't have sleep, and we have a lot of guys that I talk to who work overnight. Messes with your testosterone production. When it comes to the amount of sugar we're consuming, the average person is consuming roughly 24 to 33 grams of sugar. It keeps going up every year, and it needs to be a lot less than that. Sugar is going to lower your testosterone levels, and it's going to keep causing problems, especially if you're pre-diabetic. It's just going to cause even more problems. So, when we're talking about what type of workouts to do, it has to be different. We're not talking about just going in and trying to be like a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders are focusing on aesthetics. I'm going to lift this particular thing this way to get this particular result. Your results are looking to be different. You're trying to increase your testosterone production. Some exercises that you can do can actually kill your testosterone, especially guys who are like who really start out strong and they just keep going and they burn through their testosterone. You have to have a period of allowing your body to rebuild itself. That's where the sleep comes in. That's where even meditation allows the stress levels to go down. As you work out, your body builds up cortisol. You need to be able to release that cortisol so that your body can start repairing itself. And I mean, obviously, without that testosterone, your stamina and your strength, it's not going to be there. It is not going to be there. So, so there are certain types of exercises. Let's talk about those. The first one being high intensity interval training. There we go. HIIT training. That actually does work, guys. It does work. And the main thing about this is the intensity. It's the thing about testosterone. It is a competitor's hormone. It's the reason why men have so much testosterone is, we're born with it, but when you compete, it actually goes up. So, and this is also, if we're competing for a woman, well, the woman is looking at, okay, two guys are competing for who wins, one typically with more testosterone. So you need that testosterone because not only is she looking at, okay, he can defend me, but also he can bang it out. So you need that testosterone. Very helpful for you. Uh, Michael asks, does walking before sex help improve on erections? Actually, yes. Actually, yes. I mean, obviously, not. You can't just like, okay, I've been doing nothing for the past week, and we're having sex tonight, so I'm going to take a walk real quick. Um, the things that you need to do in order to improve your testosterone has to be consistent. Your body wants to change. Your body wants to get better, but you have to put in the work. So if you're taking morning walks or evening walks, perfect. Walking does a couple of things for you. Um, it's going to use fat as fuel. So you're actually, that's when they talk about walk away to pounds. Walking helps out a great deal. Of course, you're talking about walking for a good 40 minutes to an hour at least. I typically go for a 5 mile walk in the morning, and it helps out a great deal. Also, being outside in nature, getting that sun is hugely important. 80% of your vitamin D comes from the sun. So I know you're taking that vitamin D12 pill, just go outside and getting that fresh air, especially if you're able to get out into nature. All of these things relax you. All of these things are what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, think of this. In the chat section, I want you to go back into your memory. Let me know in the chat section the last time your feet was on the grass. Let me tell you why in a second. Let me know in the chat section. Yep. Marvin's talked about sprinting. Yeah, sprinting is good. It's definitely good. 10 to 40 yards has helped build testosterone. Yeah, that's intensity. That's sprinting is the ultimate sign of intensity, just like jumping. The reason why I brought up the whole concept of when was the last time your feet was on the ground is because the earth it's a battery. It's a battery for humans, and we most of the time we're walking with shoes on and we're walking on the sidewalk. We don't put our feet onto the earth the way that nature has done for humans for all the way up until a good couple of good 100 maybe 200 years ago. You just walk outside your bare feet, and what happens with that? Basically, there's an exchange between your body and the earth. Just like you could take a car battery, put it on the ground, and it will drain. That's because it's dead. You go outside and you're on the earth, it's going to exchange ions. The ions from the earth is just going to charge your body. It's actually going to separate the blood platelets in your bloodstream. So basically, it becomes less sticky. It actually flows more. I mean, this is because we're actually supposed to go to sleep on the ground. That's how nature had us doing it for the past millennia. And then, just recently we got this silly perfect posture, whatever mattress. We've been sleeping on mattresses, not on the ground. That's important in terms of understanding, how important it is to be back in nature. So taking a walk is highly important. What I would advise you to do is to actually, during lunchtime, go outside, find a picnic table, something like that, and just sit outside, eat, have your feet on the ground. That's going to help out a lot in ways that you could not even imagine. Um, and when we're talking about being a sexual athlete, we're also talking about the fact, the other things, the small things, being flexible. Obviously, if you can hit one position, but if you can get deeper into it, if you can put your leg over here, you have more options in terms of the things you can do. Weightlifting. If you're lifting heavy, that's a great way to increase your testosterone. Basically, every time you lift, you're tearing your muscle. That's we get that lactic acid, that feeling like I can't move anymore. This is the most I can lift. I have to rest for a second. That's the lactic acid build up. It's breaking down your muscles. When you go to sleep, your body's like, okay, we have to repair this. If everything is you have enough sleep, you have enough water, you've been drinking, then your body's like, oh, okay, we know exactly what to do. We're going to increase testosterone production to repair this muscle so you are better for the next day. That's when you get your power, is when you sleep. So really important you do that. And really the thing that you have to do mentally is focus. A lot of people don't, we do the high school thing. It's like you have sex, you had the high school sex, and you think this is the way you're supposed to do it for the rest of your life. And it's like you don't study sex. I'm glad you're on the call. I'm glad you're on right now. You're learning some things, but that's really important. when it comes to getting better is like, what are you learning? What are the things that you're paying attention to? Because as you get older, it's going to get harder to have erections, just period. I mean, especially in today's world, the way that we're living. So you have to make changes. You have to understand your health even more. When you're young, you know how we did. It was like, okay, I'm 21, go to the club, get some drinks, pick up the girl. Things can happen. Yeah, you're not the thing you're not worried about is your erection. Try going to the club at 51 and hitting them drinks, and it's like you wake up the next morning in the car in the parking lot. You ain't even make it home. The car's still on and everything. People walking past you like, oh, I hope he makes it. So you don't want that to be you. um, and yeah, I mean, the thing is, here's the cool thing. As you get older, the more you're paying attention to this, the more you can have fun because you know some things. Those things that is, as a man, you understand you're a lot calmer, but to have the ability to have sex without worrying about it is an amazing thing because I talk to guys who have the opposite of that situation, guys who are 35, who have ED. I'm talking to guys who are 28, guys who they've never had a morning erection. I know two brothers who are just impotent. That's a long story right there, but it's important that you understand all of these areas. So yeah, that's what you need to know in order to be a sexual performance athlete. So yeah. hmm Mike B says, when I was 22, I couldn't keep that thing down. Yep. Life changes. So yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead, hit me up in the comment section. And also, like I said before, you can hop on. We can. I can actually take you on live and actually hear your questions. The link is in the comment section. The thing that you want to pay attention to, like I said before, is where you are in terms of your sexual health and in terms of what you're doing on the daily basis. That's the most important thing. A lot of times people are like, I just want to take the pill. That's great. It makes absolutely no sense. If you want to take something that this small and put it into your big body, and it's supposed to have this over dramatic effect, it doesn't work because at a point, well, basically, you're not changing the pattern. All you're doing is I'm just going to take this pill and I'm gonna keep doing the same pattern. So, even for guys who were taking Viagra works by cutting the blood flow from leaving out of your penis. So, okay, you take the pill, the blood flow is not leaving, it doesn't leave out of your penis, you have an erection. Great. The problem was the reason why you stopped having erections to begin with is because you weren't getting enough sleep. And every Sunday you have a beer fest at the football game with the hot dogs and the things like that. And year after year, month after month, week after week, it just all builds up to a point that's like, well, okay, now even the pill won't do the things it needs to do because you don't have a good enough blood flow, period. And then of course the doctors will come up with something new for you to spend money on, instead of just saying, hey, this is the things that you're supposed to do. So Michael, as our morning erections normal, I heard a doctor mention that those are signs of ed. Okay. I heard a doctor mention that those are signs of ED. No, 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 no. uh, no, that's the opposite. No, yes, morning erections are a normal thing. So when you go to sleep, you typically have 4 to 5 erections while you're asleep. So the healthier you are, the more blood flow you have going through your body, the more testosterone you have, you're actually going to have longer durations of the erections in your sleep, and they're going to be stronger. So the longer and stronger they are, the better it is for you. Typically, that fifth erection is right there when you wake up. So when you wake up, that that's your body basically cycling. It's just saying, hey, just making sure everything works. Hey, making sure everything works. Happens in the REM state of your sleep. So if you're having morning erections, yeah, that's a wonderful thing. Keep that up, literally. uh, can you come back from prostate cancer? Depends on how severe, what your age is, and number one, most importantly, what are your patterns. So, and this is the thing to understand: the more you, the longer you wait, the older you get, the more difficult it becomes. Now, when I say it, the more difficult it becomes, the more you have to reverse the things that you've been doing. So, typically, if you're talking about prostate cancer or any type of cancer, you have medications that come into effect, you have a lifestyle that comes into effect, you have levels of stress that comes into effect. You have to battle those things. And on top of that, you have to basically work on the other things. So the system that I have come up with is called ECUS. ESEIS. That stands for energy, sleep, exercise, intermittent fasting, and soul. And so these are the 5 areas. It doesn't matter if you were living 2,000 years ago or 200 years from now. If you're a human, these 5 areas need to be covered in order for you to be healthy. So when we're talking about energy, we're talking about what goes into your body, what your body absorbs. And so we're talking about obviously food, obviously drink. Also, we're talking about breathing and sunlight. So you need to have all of these things working in conjunction all at the same time. When we're talking about sleep, you're talking about, well, you're not just how long you sleep, but the quality of sleep. And a lot of times we're doing things unknowingly that's causing us not to have high quality sleep. We're talking about such things as, before you go to sleep, you have a whole bunch of lights going on and things like that. The lights, your body just understands that the lights mean the sun is out, and then all of a sudden you're saying, "Oh, okay, it's time to go sleep. Let me just," and it's harder for you to go to sleep. Your sleep is much lighter. You don't hit the REM states of your sleep, so that means your erections aren't cycling through, and so you have different issues. So that's the sleep. When it comes to the exercise, how often are you exercising? How often are you moving? I'm not talking about overtraining, but the vast majority of times nowadays we are undertraining. I mean, you think about it, it's like our ancestors had no option. There was no sitting down at a computer for hours at a time. If you're a scribe, maybe you sat down and wrote for a while, but you had to walk to the office if there was a office. You had to walk to go get water. You had to walk to go get your food. You had to walk to run. You were constantly in motion. Now we're constantly sitting still. So if you work out the recommended 3 hours a week, an hour a day, an hour 3 times a week, that's less than one. Well, no, less than 2% of your week. Less than 2%. So how are you going to get better off of 2%? That doesn't make any difference. It's not helping. It's not helping. So that's in terms of your exercise. Intermittent fasting, that's something that's new. The first three, when we talk about energy, sleep, exercise, your mom told you to eat your fruits and vegetables, go to sleep on time, go outside and play. So the first three, everybody understands. The second two are new in terms of intermittent fasting wasn't necessary when basically before the 1920s, 1940s, people didn't really eat breakfast. That wasn't a thing. I mean, people just drank coffee and went about their day, or because the way we think about breakfast is in our time, and like that's the way it always was. There wasn't McDonald's to go to. There wasn't a refrigerator to go and get some cold milk and pour onto a boxes the box cereal, because there wasn't the box cereal and there wasn't the cold milk. All of that stuff is relatively new, and it's relatively new to our bodies. So before then, you weren't going out eating an omelet every morning because there weren't enough chicken eggs to go around. So that's new. So intermittent fasting is like, hey, you need to give your body a break. It used to happen just naturally. Uh-huh. And also the last thing before I start picking up on these questions, good questions, guys, is your soul. And that is under constant attack in terms of stress, social media. Think about this. How many people have you been upset with who you have no idea who they are? You have something to say about their lives. I mean, before we had what? We had 4 channels, maybe then went to 5 channels, then it was to 20 channels, and now we're at 20 million channels. Everybody has, hops on YouTube, they have an opinion. Hello. I mean, but when you're taking in so much information, especially if it's negative information, you're taking in negative information, it's sitting in somewhere in the back of your brain, because your brain is like, hey, that's a threat. I have to, that's a threat. I have to, that's a threat. I have to, that's a threat. And then you try to go to sleep. and you can't figure out why you can't go to sleep. Some of the TV shows you hop on Netflix. I mean, they're designed for you to stay hooked. So I mean, think about Game of Thrones. How many people got killed in one episode? It was like every episode somebody got killed. There wasn't one nice episode. So, and they get killed in more and more dramatic ways. I mean, they killed a whole freaking city with a dragon. So, yeah, stress. Uh-huh. All right. Yeah. So Marvin, yes, morning wood is a sign of good health. Absolutely. All right. Yes. Marvin also says wants to order that African fly to become that Superman lover. I highly advise it. I highly advise it. Because it's important, to make sure, like I said, for the ECUS, it's important to make sure you're paying attention to your health, and this has to be a daily thing. For me, growing up and seeing people who were, just outside jogging, I'm like, who does that? Because I didn't come up in that environment. My father he would take walks. My mother, she just didn't like exercising, period. So whenever I saw other people just jogging every morning, it's like, what is wrong with these people? But the thing is, it's like when it becomes a natural part of what you do, and it's not like, oh, I have to get up and jog. It's more like, oh, this is just what I do. It's like brushing your teeth. When you first were taught how to brush your teeth, you try to avoid it. You didn't want to do it. And like the cap had to tell you and tell you and tell you and tell you until all of a sudden now it's just something you do. You understand the importance of it. The exact same thing has to happen when it comes to dealing with your own life. Because if you're constantly doing the opposite thing, which is very easy to do nowadays, if you're constantly, I'm just going to eat whatever I want to eat. I mean, think about it in terms of going to the grocery store. It's like there's a grocery store, there's one aisle of food that you should be eating, and every other aisle is full of food that you should not be eating. And so typically, you walk through the vegetables and the produce aisle, pick up one or two things, and then the rest of your cart is filled with food that has been designed to stay on the shelves for years. It was designed for the market. It was not designed for your consumption. So you really have to pay attention to why. Why can I put this into my refrigerator or put it in my freezer and it stays for years? Mhm. Hey, what's going on, Raymond? Boogie Down Bronx in the house. I remember a story with my grandmother. She did a slip and fall. She was fell down the steps. She broke her hip. Went into the hospital on 2 drugs. Came out on 22 drugs. And fortunately, a friend of mine and I, we were able to look at that information and figure out that they were doubling up on her drugs. So that's the reason why I have problems with the whole pharmaceutical industry. But one of the things that ended up happening to her, she had a house where the bedroom was upstairs, where she couldn't walk up the stairs anymore. So she was now living in her living room. She hated that. She hated that. And I would visit her. And one day she said, "Look at that apple on a counter." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." She said, "I'm not going to eat that." I was like, "Well, you need to eat healthy, Grandma." And she was like, "Boy, that thing's been sitting on there for a week." I was like, "Okay." She's like, "That's not supposed to happen." The food is supposed to spoil. We've gotten so used to the way that the food has been presented to us that we think that this is correct. That the produce is supposed to be able to sit there for weeks on end. If you get go to Costco or someplace like that, you get their fruit. You go to get the organic fruit, is a huge difference. And even the organic fruit nowadays, well, it's been changed a lot. Sometimes for the good and sometimes for the not so good. One of the things I never realized was that inside of a banana, those little black spots, those are seeds. They actually bred the seeds out of bananas. Nowadays, we have watermelons with no seeds in them. That's not the way that nature works. So, there have been changes that have been made that really do affect the way that people look at their food. And we just don't even think about it. We just go ahead and buy it and purchase it. I mean, the whole concept of an egg omelet, a chicken and egg omelet is basically you're going to take the baby chicken and you're going to mix it with the mama and we're going to call that an omelet. I mean, we do things now and we don't think it all the way through. So it's important that you're looking at that, because if you don't do this, the reason why I'm so passionate about what I do here, making sure I spread the information to guys, is not just for us, but it's for the next generation. Because think of where we are and think of where they can be. Now, when I was growing up, going to McDonald's was a luxury. It was like once a month, if that. If go twice a month, there's a whole bunch of complaining going on. Oh, I don't have the check for this. We didn't get to pay me, all this other kind of stuff. But now it's 24/7. You can just get up and go to McDonald's, eat whatever you want to, and it's not a good look. And so we've gotten so used to all of these daily conveniences that it becomes harder and harder to break out of it. Uh-huh. All right, got a quick question right here. Time for a commercial break. Marvin Hopkins, my man, he asked, where do we get the product? So African Fly, you can go to africanfly.com. That's africanfly.com. And yeah, we have a ton of information, a ton of testimonials. We've been selling African Fly, which is all natural liquid aphrodisiac, for the past 23 years. You don't sell something for 23 years, it doesn't work. So we cleaned that from our history standpoint. But the other thing that I understood, well, let me just go ahead and finish the commercial first. Yeah, if you go there, Marvin, go ahead. Let me give you a discount code. It's AF15. That's African Fly 15, AF15. So you can take 15% off of your purchase. So yeah, yeah, as I was saying, there's so much that we need to pay attention to in terms of getting to our best self. And that means, yeah, in terms of being a sexual performance athlete, you need to know everything. All of these different things, like I said, it's all lined up against us. But yeah, as you're correcting it, it makes a difference, and you can teach the next generation, because the next generation is already coming up at a huge disadvantage. Our grandfathers have more testosterone than we do. So it is continuing to go down. It is actually rapidly declining. Uh-huh. So Michael B asks, how do you take African Fly? African Fly is a liquid product, and basically, do I have one right there behind there? Yeah. It's an all natural liquid tincture. Has 8 different herbs in it, and there we go. There we go. Aha. Yeah, that's African Fly right there. You just take the dropper tops tube, and basically it is um, three three dropper tops will equal 1 teaspoon, 1 teaspoon per serving. You want to take it morning, afternoon, and early evening. The reason why we say early evening is because it is a stimulant. It is designed to get you ready for sex. And if you take it later in the evening and you don't have sex or work out, you will be awake. You will be awake. So you definitely want to use it in that manner. Let me see. Let me see. How do you take it? Do you put drops under your tongue? Yes. Yes. Put it sublingually. Putting it under your tongue will allow it to get into your veins faster. That's the reason why you want to have a liquid product instead of a pill. With a pill, it has to go through your digestive tract. It's going to break it down. It's nowhere near the same. It's not going to be as fast to your body. And when someone says that it's a natural pill, they're natural capsules. Capsules will do. But when someone says you're taking an actual one of those hard Viagra type pills, yeah, they're filled with fillers and all this other kind of stuff. It's processed. What they keep telling you, you're not supposed to eat processed foods. Well, you're not supposed to eat processed herbs. So because they're processing the health right out of it. hmm Uh, so don't take it well, it depends on what your work is. If you want to, I would say go ahead and work as much as you want to. A lot of guys take it. I was just talking to a customer today. He says he takes it in the evening because he's working constantly and he needs that extra boost in the evening. So, it works for him. So, it's an herb. It's an herb. It's a powerful herb. We say it's like a testosterone salad for your body. Uh huh. What's going on, Jeremy? Yes, indeed. So yeah, um, I do want to go ahead and reveal something to you guys. We're actually doing some changes around here. We're talking about uh, changing up and introducing to the world a product called Good Wood. Good Wood. Yes, that's the men's performance fuel that we're coming out with now. It's a formula much like African Fly. We're going to have more information coming out about that. And in fact, hold on a second. We got it. We got it. That's right. Goodwood protecting the family jewels since 1999. But yeah, we're going to have a lot more information coming out about that. We're going to have some surprises, some things like that. If you have not gone to africanfly.com and signed up to be a subscriber, go ahead and do that so you can get the information. Also, if you have not hit the like button for this show, please do that. Go ahead and do that. If you have not subscribed to the channel, you'll want to go ahead and do that. It's important to make sure you have all the information as possible. I've been doing this for the past 23 years. I have a ton of stuff that I've already forgotten. But I mean, I get the gist of it. I know how important it is for guys. It's not nice talking to guys who lose marriages over sexual health issues, families getting broke up, things like that. And it doesn't have to be that way. There's always a way to make a comeback. Uh-huh. All right. Oh, social media. Uh, yep. Really, the social media we're going to be starting that up again shortly because we're making some changes. We're making some changes, so I'll make sure that we get you informed there, Sean. Uh huh. All right. How can I order Goodwood? Goodwood will not be available until September. Thanks for asking. But yeah, that's where we're doing a big launch. Like I said, make sure you subscribe so we can get all the information to you. We're going to have some special giveaways and things like that to say thank you to the guys who are already taking African Fly, and for the guys who want to get in on the Goodwood. We're going to have some T-shirts. We're going to have some coffee mugs. We're going to have some fun with it. You'll see the commercials and all that good stuff. All that good stuff. And all of this is leading up to Goodwood University. So for the guys who don't know, we have, like I said, the ECUS 25 training program that's being folded into Goodwood University. We're going to have a lot of interviews. We're going to be talking with folks who are also experts in this, because it's all about getting the information. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. I'm learning constantly, and I like it. But we need to speed up the process so you guys get the information as quickly as possible. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And yeah, any more questions, hit me up in the comment section, because yeah, we're about to wrap up. But once again, uh the reason why we're going to Goodwood, the reason why we're going with Goodwood University is because there's so much information. We need to get it to you as quickly as possible, and more importantly, we need for you to act on it. So I highly encourage. I talk to guys, and sometimes they get discouraged because they're doing certain things, and it's not, they're not getting to where they want to be. And it's like, yes, it takes time, and you want to get on it now. You want to stay on it now. So, as you're looking at your different patterns, I mean, I wanted you to think about when you go to sleep tonight. It's like, what are you doing before you go to sleep? This is an easy thing. I mean, are you turning off your TVs and things like that? Is your room dark? I mean, there's a whole process to it. In fact, obviously on my YouTube channel, I have a few videos talking about sleep because it's that important. So make sure you're following along on that. And of course, make sure you subscribe and on the YouTube channel. So yeah, that is all I have. Guys, I want to thank you, Michael. Great questions. Jeremy, appreciate you, bro. Sean, everyone, Marvin, good to see everyone here again. What's going on, Andre? Eddie, all of you guys. So thank you. This is Uncle B signing off, saying peace, be still, and get your good wood together. And talk to you soon. Peace out.